Hello and welcome to today's video, Nutrition 101 Part 3. So in Part 1, we learned all about the basics of calories, macronutrients, micronutrients, and really why we should care about these things. And in Part 2, we then went more in depth about your own body's nutrition needs so that you could really put those into context when you're in the grocery store looking at nutrition labels. And in today's video, we're going to help you understand how to break your caloric needs into macronutrient goals and even further how you can put them into context when you're looking at those food labels. So as I mentioned in the last video, paying attention to macronutrients helps us establish an overall sense of balance in our nutrition. So if we only paid attention to calories, we may not be getting enough protein in our diet, for example. Or maybe we'd be missing out on that vital fat that our body needs. So that's why paying attention to macros is so important. So how do you know how many macros to eat? So our macronutrient needs are highly individualized, and yours are going to be different from the person sitting next to you. And as such, a full breakdown of how to determine your own macronutrient needs is really outside of the scope of this video. But what I will do is give you some general resources that you can use to help determine your own macronutrients. And I really do recommend that you check with your doctor or other healthcare professional, especially if you have any medical conditions or you're pregnant or breastfeeding, before you actually make any changes to your diet. So every macronutrient, so that includes protein, carbs, and fat. Again, just to recap, we don't set targets for alcohol because it's not actually providing us with any nutrients, right? So all of these macronutrients have acceptable ranges that we can be within each day and still be eating what would be considered a balanced, healthy diet. But keep in mind that what is quote unquote healthy for one person might not be for another. So again, please consult your doctor or other healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet. So the US dietary guidelines provide a really great breakdown of macronutrient ranges. So I'll share kind of the TLDR, too long don't read version with you here, but the guide is also going to be linked for you with this video if you'd like to take a look at it yourself. So for the average healthy adult female who is not pregnant or breastfeeding, macronutrient goals can fall within the following ranges. So protein can be between 10 and 35% of your total caloric needs. Carbs can be between 45 and 60% of your total caloric needs, and fat can be between 20 and 35% of your total caloric needs. And keep in mind, this is straight from the US dietary guidelines, so you can again reference that guide that I have linked here in the video. So keep in mind that if you're pregnant, you're breastfeeding, you're an athlete, you're very young, you're very old, not a female, or if you have any medical conditions, your needs might be different than these ranges. And again, the US Dietary Guidelines has a great breakdown for many different types of scenarios. So like, for example, if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding, what that could look like, and kind of just some general nutrition recommendations for each. So definitely check that out. It's a great resource. And again, please do make sure to check with your doctor or other healthcare professional before making changes to your diet. I feel like I can't say that enough in these videos. General advice is general, right? We need specifics for us, and your healthcare professional or someone who's working specifically with you is going to be able to give you those best recommendations. So outside of that, these ranges can really be a good starting point for you to play around with. And I would say just pick a place to start within those ranges and see how it feels. You can always adjust things up or down if you need to, based on, how you feel and how your body responds. And it's also important to take into account when you're evaluating this, your own food preferences. So do you enjoy eating more fat in your diet? Maybe you want to be kind of closer to the top of the range of fat because of that. Do you like more or less protein? That can also influence where you want to be. Same with how active you are. If you're more active, you're probably going to need more protein. Someone who's more sedentary may not need as much protein. Maybe you like more carbs in your diets. Maybe you want to be on the higher end of the range. Maybe you want less, so it's going to be on the lower end of the range. Just to state the obvious, we obviously want all of our macro percentages to add up to 100. So if we are over 100%, we've done something wrong and we need to go back and reevaluate the balance there again. So once you have established your macronutrient goals, it becomes easier to kind of look at those food labels and actually put them in the context of your body's needs. So for example, if you come across a cheese at the store and it's got 10 grams of fat per serving, and your goal for the day is 45 grams of fat, you can make those educated decisions about what you buy and eat. And if you feel like, hey, the 10 grams of fat, perfect, that fits into a perfect balance of what I'm eating today, awesome, great, right? So we can go with that. So I hope that this video was helpful and that you enjoyed the Nutrition 101 series.